Have you seen a strange phenomenon where a person who was abused go on to do the exact same thing to other people? And have you wonder why would a person do that? It seems like a normal person would not want to do that, right? If they were treated badly, they would not want to do the same thing to other people. But in Chinese, there's actually a saying called 媳妇熬成婆. That's a great example of this phenomenon. In fact, in psychology, there is a terminology called repetition compulsion, meaning that we can't help ourselves but to do what was done to us. So why does that happen? Well, if a child grew up in an environment where they were treated by abusive or bullying parents or teachers, they literally only have two options. One is they can fight. They can say, this is wrong. I don't want to listen to you. I don't want to be treated this way. They get angry. They try to fight. This route, however, is quite dangerous, especially if the parents are angry or the teacher is violent, right? You're taking a huge personal risk. But there is another way. The other way is that some kids would choose to align. They would buy into the story that these authoritarian figures put on them. So if the teacher says, I think you're dumb, I think you can't dance, I think you can't sing, I think you can't do math, they believe it. They integrate that into their personal identity. And when they grow up and they get the opportunity, they tend to treat their own children or their own students the exact same way that they were treated. This is truly, truly, truly unfortunate. And why I do these videos is I want to educate people on this phenomenon so that we can all become self-reflective and think, whenever a certain thing is done a certain way, does it have to be that way? Is there a better way that I can do better? So the sad thing about people that choose to align is a lot of times they become both the victim and victimizer later in adult life. The common example is a person that works in a large company. She may have a team of her own employees. At the same time, obviously, she also has a boss. So this person would kiss up, to literally brown nose the person above them, to try to please the boss, be nice to the boss, curry favor with the boss. At the same time, they kick down, meaning that they treat their own people poorly and rudely. And unfortunately, these people also a lot of times tend to have what is called a narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, 自恋型人格. So these people tend to have a grandiose sense of self. They believe that they are special, they're all that, because it's actually trying to hide a very fragile sense of self, right? For example, they were abused and they were told that they were not good enough. So instead they rebound and they build this really larger than life ultra ego to say that, hey, I'm better than everybody else. I'm not just as good as, I'm actually better than everybody else. So they deserve special treatment. They want admiration because this weak sense of self doesn't actually believe in that fantasy. So they're constantly seeking attention and affirmation from the outside world. So you'll see that these people are constantly craving you to praise them, to tell them that they're special, they're more beautiful, they're smarter, whatever. It has to come from the outside world because the inside is really, really weak and requires outside affirmations to shore up. Another defining feature of these people is that they lack empathy. So they have a lot of empathy for themselves, they just don't have it for other people. So if you were ever to say something to them that they don't like to hear, right, giving them constructive feedback they don't want to hear, they get super angry at you. They will tell you that you wronged them, you made them feel uncomfortable. But at the same time, if you were to let them know that something they did or they said made you feel uncomfortable or hurt your feelings, they couldn't care less. They would literally tell you to shut up because they don't believe that your feelings matter or that you have feelings at all. And the last thing is that these people tend to get envious easily. So because they want to be in that special position, if you have something they don't have, maybe you're better educated, maybe you have more money, maybe you're better at this and that, they get really jealous at you. At the same time, they may also feel that the rest of the world is jealous at them because, they have this huge alter ego, right? They think they're special and therefore everybody else must be jealous of them. So anyways, these people are super toxic and difficult to deal with. So what do you do if you happen to come upon one of these characters? What I can tell you is that the psychologists and therapists in the United States, a majority of them refuse to treat people with NPD because NPD people cannot self-reflect. They never think they did anything wrong. It's always the rest of the world is wrong, so they can't change. So give up on changing them. That's number one. Number two is that try to limit your exposure because they will bring you down. You will never come out feeling happier or more energetic after interacting with one of these characters. And thirdly is to establish really strong boundaries. They believe that they're special and they're entitled and the rules don't apply to them, so they will try to get their way. They will push your boundaries, they will disrespect you to try to get their way. So what you need to do is actually stand very firm. A no is a no. Once they know that you're not somebody that's a pushover, that you don't cave, they will go and find another target and leave you alone. Anyways, I hope that today's session is helpful. If there's another topic that interests you, just drop in a comment. I'll see you next time.